Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. So first fact is that you can sing all the poems of Emily Dickinson to the tune of I'd Like to Buy the Word Coke, which you probably didn't recognize because I can't sing. You can probably guess that today I'm going to talk about American literature, but first, I would like to say that I hope I caught your attention somehow by that, because I know that you have probably 50 of these videos to watch, so please at least skip to the end when I talk about my favorite author, Emily Dickinson. We're breaking free! So I would like to start with my attitude to reading in general. So I would say that I have to know that the American educational system is not the best in the world, and I'm not the biggest fan of it either. But their students are well-rounded, which I believe has something to do with their liberal arts educational system. When the university students have to read lots of books with varying topics, like the classics like Shakespeare, to science researchers, to self-development books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or they even have to read the Constitution of the United States, which fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, we don't have to do that here. So accordingly, they do have the basic understanding of the world around them. And sometimes I find myself like not knowing anything about something. Let's say denuclearization, when the Americans do. And I am convinced about the fact that very least of you know something about it either, so at least I'm not alone. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we should read more, not only the compulsory books from school, but even the one you are not that interested in, because it helps you to be more aware of your surroundings, and it helps you to understand the world better, and it also allows you to escape from this world for a minute, so it can be nice. Can you feel it? That's why instead of talking about the classic authors that I'm sure you all know, because you go to the Czech school and you have a good academic background, I decided to talk about the authors that you may not be that familiar with. Let's start with biographies. For instance, I have Mask, which is a book written by Ashley Vance and published in 2015. It traces Musk's life from his childhood up to the time when he founded and led companies like SpaceX, Tesla, PayPal, and so forth, because he has lots of companies. And I would recommend this book to anyone, because it shows the side of this billionaire's life when we normal people can actually relate to. There's a part which was really outstanding to me, and it describes the time when both of his companies, SpaceX and Tesla, were struggling. So he had to sleep in his office on his on the floor, and he got only 4 hours of sleep per day in order to manage his time and work efficiently. And it made me realize these successful, glamorous billionaires did not get to the place where they are today by being lazy or complaining about, like, complaining how bad the world is, but they put it in the work instead. So yeah, but let's talk about the author. So Ashley Vance is an American author who, in short, writes mainly about technology, relating companies, programming languages, and besides Elon Musk, he also wrote a book called Geek Silicon Valley. Aside from those two books, he is mainly published in newspapers and magazines like The Economist. Then I have something from scientific slash self-development books. I would say that they are really popular at the moment, and I have to admit that I've read lots of them. But there's this one book that I think is like the almost perfect book for people my age, and it's called So Good They Can't Ignore You. And the book challenges the motto "Follow your passion," and the author in the book claimed that that motto is flawed, and we should focus on doing something that's rare and valuable and doing it right instead of following your passion or dreams especially when you don't know what it is. So why did I say that it's only almost perfect? So basically, the author, Cole Newport, who is the dean of the IT department at Georgetown University, you can clearly perceive his computer science education in his book, and many literate critics say that this book is not well written and because it's difficult to understand. However, the main reason why I mentioned this is because English is not our first language, and we may be at the level when we are not capable of understanding the book yet, which is understandable, I would say. But if you are a teacher, an English teacher, please go for it because it's an amazing book. So yeah. Anyway, and I also would like to add that I would say that this book like inclined a little bit towards the scientific side. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm not the only one.
Moving on, I also have this section of fiction slash modern fiction slash teenagers rom-com slash however you want to call them, and I chose two authors to represent this category. The first one is Jenny Han, and then I have John Green. Ooh. So basically 4 to 5 years ago, or even maybe 8 years ago, John Green was a trend and everybody had to read him. Now I can confidently say that his books are about nothing. They just literally describe the lives of the teenagers, and I can see how he tried to implement like their mental health or the process of growing up in order to make his books relatable and deep, let's say. But I can say it was successfully done. So anyway, let's move on to Jenny Han. So she wrote a book, To All the Boys I Loved Before. If you haven't heard about her or about the book To All the Boys I Loved Before, or about the movie which was created based on that book, then you probably have experienced the Second World War, because like literally every teenager and every people in their 20s, I feel like, are talking about the movie or the book. Okay, so I read the book because I was thinking like, okay, the main character was an Asian, so that's the main one reason, not the main reason, that was the one reason. Then the main reason is that I wanted to know how people feel like when they are in love, and like, man, I couldn't relate at all. I don't know what to say about it. Like, yeah, I think it's just me. I don't think I'm capable of understanding this teenagers' mindset, mentality, or lies, or like, because I'm just weird. It's just me being weird, honestly. So yeah.
Now's the time!
But to whom I can relate to is Emily Dickinson, who I believe belongs to the category of classics, and I discovered her accidentally. Before I even realized it, I was lying in my bed reading her poems, and then I went to sleep like with the verses in my head. um I was dreaming about them, and then I woke up like thinking about them, which I feel like that is what falling in love is like, I guess. Anyway, she was born in Amherst, Massachusetts in 1830. Um, she lived throughout her life in her father's house, and she rarely left her room. Both her father and grandfather were lawyers, businessmen, and politicians. Um, Aside from few published poems, she remained unpublished due to her era, because she was basically like, I'm going to make a great poet one day. And then her father would slap her face and he would be like, no, Emily, a woman's poem can be published because it would cause a bad reputation to our family. So moving on, Emily Dickinson never got married because it would limit her from becoming a great poet. And when she died, her poems were discovered by her sister Lavinia, and then they were published. Her poems are the strangest, most fascinating poems ever written, and you can see that if we didn't give her enough credits for them when she was alive, we for sure admire them now. Given to the fact number two, is that the Amherst College, which was founded by her grandfather, it's now one of few colleges that still requires this SAT essays from the applicants, which is probably influenced by her. The main theme of her poems are death and mortality. One of her poems begins like, I heard a buzz when I died. Died obviously stands for death and mortality. Then we also have buzz, which actually stands for bees. In short, they appears a lot in her poems, and that makes many critics, literary critics, challenge their occurrences. Many say that she could see them among the deaf, who again nobody knows what or who it was. Um, so yeah, which actually makes her poems relatable to me, because I sometimes start imagining things that normally are not there, and I could literally see them. But I think that's just my creativity alerting me and alerting my mind that this brain strives for some creation. So yeah, I got sidetracked, so let's come back to Emily. And what also makes her poems unconventional are the dashes she employed in her poems, which again, to reiterate, nobody knows why she used them, or did she use them to replace commas? Nobody knows. So basically, to conclude this, I can talk about her all day, obviously, but let me conclude this with few recommendations to her poems. Like I heard a buzz when I died, those are like popular one, or like because I could not stop for death, or I'm nobody, who are you? Or there's my favorite one, farewell. That's my favorite one. So as last, I have to mention To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, because it would be a shame if I did not. So anyway, Harper Lee was an American novelist who published only 2 books, yet she was rewarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom thanks to her contribution to literature. To Kill a Mockingbird is a book that deals with irrationality of adult attitude towards like racism and class. It's depicted through the eyes of 2 children, and it's actually based on Lee's observation of her own family, neighbors, and occurrences in her hometown, and it's widely read in high school and middle school in the United States. So I guess it was probably like more than 8 minutes. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say if you didn't watch the video. It doesn't matter. Just please watch the Emily Dickinson part, because she's amazing. So yeah, stay safe, stay at home.